Hello everybody and welcome back to Darts with Jack podcast, your number one podcast for all things darts. This podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and also YouTube, so please subscribe if you're on YouTube, like the video, and if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, just give the podcast a follow so I can interact more with you guys. Well, it's been a very, very busy week in the world of darts this week, so we're going to talk about many things, including the Pro Tour, the World Seniors Championships, the Premier League, the withdrawal of some players, and the UK Open draw, among other things as well. So, I'm sorry to reiterate it, but let's get into the episode of this podcast. Follow the podcast, and on Spotify, I also always include a poll or an interact question, so please interact with that so I can get all your feedback on this podcast. Right, let's get into it. Before I carry on, I just want to apologise if my voice does sound a bit worse. I've just had a cold for the last couple of days and I'm all bunged up, so I'm having to record outside to get a better acoustic for my voice. Otherwise, it will just sound awful. So yeah, let's get into the first thing I'm going to talk about, which is this week's Premier League in Newcastle. Right, so this week in the Premier League, they were in Newcastle for night 4. And we had the best quarterfinals, I think, probably of the Premier League so far. Michael Smith lost to Nathan Aspinall, 5-6 in a last leg decider. Rob Cross beat Luke Humphrey, 6-5 in a last leg decider. Luke Littler beat Peter Wright, 6-5, which actually, I'm going to talk about that for a second. Peter Wright was showing the old signs of Peter Wright. He felt like he was coming back. He threw 6 180s. He averaged 103.37, and it really gave a lot of us darts fans confidence to know that Peter Wright was coming back. And Van Gerwen got the better of Gerwyn Price, 6-4, averaging 107.27, a ridiculous average. Now on to semi-finals, Aspinall got his second win of the Premier League, beating Rob Cross 6-4, and Van Gerwen beat Littler 6-5 in an incredible, enthralling last leg decider. And Van Gerwen started 90 on the treble 18, missed it, and then hit 2 double 18s, literally in the exact same spot. You couldn't have... I don't even know how he did it. I don't think you could wedge another dart in there. And in the final, it was Michael Van Gerwen 6, Nathan Aspinall 4. I didn't watch this game. I couldn't. But it was 98.78 average for Van Gerwen. And Aspinall had the better average at 100.29. Aspinall hit one more 180. But his checkouts are much worse. Van Gerwen hit 6 out of 9 darts at double, and Aspinall hit 4 out of 11, although Aspinall did hit an incredible 170 finish in the final. Right, that is the Premier League segment of the podcast done. I will now move on to just a bit of news, which was about Joe Cullen. Obviously, as I'm sure you all know by now, Joe Cullen is my favourite player, but I'm just going to get up the statement that Joe Cullen released the other day on his Twitter and Instagram page. He posted on 3 days ago now, going to take some time away from social media for a while, see you all soon. My management have access to my account, so anything on here will be from them. Everyone just thinks, he's just obviously going through a bad patch, and obviously he's not watching this podcast, but I just hope he's okay. Obviously, it's never good to see a player like this. However, then in the next couple of Pro Tours, he pulled out and we didn't see him. And it was really odd because no one was quite sure why. Obviously, he hasn't released a reason for this. So we all hope that he is okay, and we all hope to see him back on the Pro Tour soon, as he's such a strong character on the Pro Tours and he always brings the extra little pizzazz to the Pro Tours. Right, let's get into the Pro Tour recap. So, it was in Leicester this week, and for the Players' Championship 3, your quarter-final games were Van Gerwen beating Steve Lennon 6-5, Callum Rydz beating Luke Littler 6-4, Searle beating Noppert 6-4, Anderson beating Wright 6-2. Your semi-finals were Anderson 7, Rydz 4, Van Gerwen 4, Searle 7, and in a repeat of Players' Championship 2 final, Ryan Searle finally got over the line in his third Pro Tour final in a row and beat Gary Anderson 8-7 in what was an absolutely incredible game to watch. Obviously, the big takes from that is that Callum Rydz is really on form at the start of the season. I don't know what's happened, don't know if he's changed much, but he's really on form, and it's really good to see him having that after he struggled last year. What else have we got to recap? Searle obviously has been incredible this year. His new Harrow stuff is absolutely working for him. Players Championship 4. Bunting. Was it Bunting? I think it was Bunting who actually lost 2 first round games in a row. I'll just check that quickly for you. So, yes, it was Bunting. Bunting lost to Jermaine Watermena and Van der Waal. And, 2 first round defeats after his Masters win. So I'm really, I think it's probably just a blip. I guess he was obviously just really excited after his Masters win. Right, in Players Championship 4, also in Leicester, your quarter-final games were Heta 6, Dolan 3, Christian Perez 6, Raymond van Barneveld 2, Dobie 6, Van Dijvenbode 2, Wright 6, Williams 5. Your semi-final games were Heta 7, Perez 2, Dobie 7, Wright 6 in a great game, and Heta took the title over Chris Dobie 8-4 in the final. There were a couple of 9-darters over the Players' Championship weekend, or it was on Monday and Tuesday, which I don't like. Ryan Meikle got one. I can't remember who else got one. Oh, yeah, Simon Whitlock, but that was in the European Tour qualifiers. So let's move on to them now. Right, so the qualification for ET3, the Tour card holder qualifiers are Mike De Decker, Callum Ridds, Mervyn King, Richie Edhouse, Jitse van der Waal, Owen Bates, Simon Whitlock, Cameron Menzies, William O'Connor and Richard Veenstra. Sorry, my voice has just completely gone there. And in ET4 qualifiers, where have they gone? Keane Barry, Callum Ridds, Luke Littler, Martin Lukeman, Richard Edhouse, Jeffrey Sparidans, I'm sorry if I've butchered that surname, Mickey Mansell, Stephen Burton, Scott Williams and Christian Perez. In ET4 qualifiers, Simon Whitlock and Richie Edhouse hit the perfect legs. And in ET3, Adam Smith, Neil hit 1. Mike De Decker's also had a really good start to the season as well. And obviously it's really good to see Callum Ridds on form. Luke Littler obviously heading to that Euro Tour. Right, before I continue with this episode, I'd just like to ask if you guys prefer the conversation style, where it's more me sitting down, giving the facts, recording, not pausing much if I make a mistake or anything, or if you'd rather I do my normal podcast, but then pause if there are any mistakes, delete it and carry on. So I'm going to leave that as a question on Spotify. So please respond to that. It'll be really, really good. Right, now we are going to talk about the UK Open draw. So the UK Open begins on the 1st of March, live from Butland and Minehead. The top 32 enter the tournament from round 4 on Friday evening, where the tournament then has an open draw, meaning anyone can draw anyone. So that's what really is incredible about the UK Open. So stage allocations are announced in due course, and the defending champion is obviously Andrew Gilding. Right, a couple of ties I want to pick out just from the first round, which I think are really good. I really like Conan Whitehead versus Lennon Gates. That could be an awesome game. Leighton Bennett versus Scott Mitchell will be another awesome game. Bates Bolton, Scott Placier will be incredible games, and one of the best first round games I think we've ever seen at the UK Open. Jules van Dongen versus Thibaut Tricol, and my tie that I'm going to pick out is obviously Ashley Coleman versus Tim Walters. For anyone who doesn't know, Ashley Coleman is the best mate of the darts referee Jack. And obviously Jack has really supported my channel and my podcast, often retweeting, and I'm really, really appreciative for that. I got one of Ashley Coleman's first set of darts when only 90 of them were released. And Ashley recently almost came through Q School, unfortunately missing out, but has had an incredible time so far in the limelight, and everyone is supporting him. He faces Tim Walters, and then he's got a couple of really, really good draws. He'll either faced by Lecky or Walker in the second round, and in the third round, where's his third round draw gone? I had it, and then it's got, we'll either face, then if he gets through one of them, we'll face Ryan Joyce. Right, so that is the UK Open draw, just for, in a brief, I'm only focusing on the first round, and obviously I'll do multiple recaps when it gets to the actual UK Open. But now it's time to talk about the World Seniors. Okay, the World Seniors was an absolutely incredible event for darts fans. The quarterfinals were Andy Hamilton 1, John Henderson 3 in sets, Long 3, Hogan 2, Chris Mason 1, Ashton 3, Dudbridge 1, McGarry 3, and the semi-finals, John Henderson beat Long 3-0, and Ashton lost, really unfortunately, 2-3 to McGarry. Ashton had a great run. She looked unstoppable. Everyone thought, it was going to be her and Henderson in the final, but luckily McGarry came back to win, but it was an absolute spotlight for Lisa Ashton, and it was incredible to see her do so well. In the final, though, John Henderson dominated, winning 5-0, averaging 86.72 and hitting 4 180s to take the World Seniors title. Fully deserved, and it'll be really good to see him at the UK Open next month. Now, thank you all for watching. I will hopefully see you all in the next episode. Have a good rest of your darting week, and I'll see you later. Goodbye. Just before I end it, actually, a really quick note. I've just noticed while I've been editing that I accidentally, because of my cold, I've been sniffing a lot. And I don't want to delete it all and go back, so that's a lot of work and research would be deleted. So I'm really sorry for that. But I hope you still got to enjoy the podcast, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.